All right, welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers and NASDAQ truth seekers. We're just getting things together here. Um, we're live, but not exactly live yet. Let me keep moving here. We'll get everything together. Robert will be on soon. I'm on now. If I get my act together, we'll look at some crypto stuff before we get started. Market's getting close to open. Bitcoin's not doing anything too exciting this morning. Let's look at a 15-minute chart. Okay, Bitcoin's a little bit interesting. Let me find Robert here. He'll be hopping on soon. Doing a couple of things at once here. All right, almost ready. Got it together. Let me invite a few other people. Come join me. All right, bonk. And all right, everybody. So good morning, everybody. Here we are. Let me share a screen here. Okay, so once again, welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers and traditional market truth seekers. It's 6:19 a.m. and it's Wednesday, July 24th. The month is getting ready to come to a close pretty soon. We'll be looking at the NASDAQ stuff today, of course, as usual, but right now I'm checking out the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin versus USDT on Coinbase, where I like to check it out. That's where I get my feel for things. So it's a 15-minute chart. And as we can see, if we squeeze this a little bit, Bitcoin's kind of been on a downwards trend for a while. Indicators are rolled over. It's making a little bit of a push. Right now, it's all about... oh, and Robert is here. Yeah, Robert's here. Okay. We were just checking out Bitcoin here. And what's interesting about Bitcoin today? Well, this is a 15-minute chart. And, the one thing I do notice is if we look where Bitcoin is right this second, this is, short time span here, a 15-minute chart. But if we look, it's right here at kind of both, support and resistance. And the indicators are kind of rolled over. They're not too exciting on the 15-minute chart, but, it does look like it's challenging a previous location, which is support and resistance. So I don't know. If it maybe it'll turn up today. It's early in the day. Let's see what happens. Maybe market open will affect it a little bit, but if it could get a push above this, current historic support resistance, maybe we would see a little bit upwards movement. But I guess it's kind of make or break time. We'll see if it pushes through and gets some momentum, or if it just gets rejected. Anyway, how you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Thanks.
All right. So yeah, that's what I've got. Just looking at Bitcoin, it's we'll see what happens. Is it gonna move or not this morning? But I know that it's all about the NASDAQ this morning. So I'll unshare this. So how are things looking there? This is when Robert's really a focused machine, because it's 6:21. Market opens in about 9 minutes, and which way are things gonna go?
Well, the NASDAQ has dropped considerably in pre-markets.
Hmm.
Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, what we had going on was we had a big drop here.
Whoa. Yeah.
So
5-minute chart. Yeah.
chopping to the downside since yesterday evening, about 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30. So we'd get these big oversold areas, and then we'd kind of get a relief. Then it would go make a lower low, and it's been doing that all night. Then we had a pretty big dump around 8 a.m. Eastern. So it dropped about $100. So, and of course, this is in direct relation to other assets going down. Tesla was kind of not looking real great. There is kind of a little bit of a short-term rally going on with Microsoft. See, the candles are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Same thing with Apple, kind of holding this price area. NVIDIA as well. So back to the NASDAQ. It is trying to hold this bottom here at around 19,608, I believe was the bottom. So looking at the 1 hour, we did make a lower low on the 1 hour, the last low being July 19th, 5 days ago. Now we could get some kind of a rally in here, but I'm just kind of waiting to see if the buyers really step in or what's going to happen.
Nothing is, yeah, definitely. So that's a lower low. So now it's all about, are we going to make another lower low, or are we going to actually bounce off that lower low? This is an interesting morning for sure. Yeah, you may have paid for a whole seat to watch this show, but you'll only need the edge.
Yeah, especially with the New York Open happening in about 5 or 6 minutes. It's going to be interesting. It'll probably be pretty slippery during that time. So.
But I mean, even though the big money they play it up and down, they long and short, but still, when you do see a dump like this, that's created a lot of nice. You usually get that dump before the pump. I always look at it when you're watching the big money.
Yeah. Absolutely, they do that kind of by design, because it gives them, if they're going to push the price up, and the market makers kind of know what they're going to do. If they're going to push the price up, they're going to get a drop and let the bears take over, and then they could get more upside to it,
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed about the NASDAQ, looking at it day after day after day for months, is that if it's going to do a run, it's probably going to happen within a half an hour of after open, New York Open. And a lot of the times, looking back, the perfect entry was either just a few minutes after New York Open, or, say 20 minutes after New York Open. A lot of times I tend to stay out of it right at New York Open, because it can act like it's going to go up and then just dump like a huge amount and totally mess up your trade. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, see what it's going to do. Whew. I'll see if I can, and I will see while we're waiting here if I can get Bookmap to fire up again here. I was looking at it the other day on my this computer with the big monitor, and I got it running, and it is wild. So let's see if I can get this guy to, while we're waiting, I'll see if I can get it to fire up, because it was pretty spectacular, especially if you have a nice big monitor. Let's see. Now I gotta find it. Let's see. So, where'd you go? Probably in downloads. There we go. Okay. Boom. We're getting closer.
Yep.
Let's see. Here we go. See downloads.
I don't know much about Linux. Do you have to do DOS programming in Linux? You have to give it DOS?
Yeah, it's got a GUI now. It has a nice Windows system. So, it looks a lot like, Windows, or a little bit more like a Mac than Windows. So you can just live in the GUI. And most things, do just install and just work. It has repositories for everything. But I would say, it's still in general kind of a pain in the ass. It's like,
but more secure, which
it's
is the
more
main idea.
secure. Yeah. I mean, for me, I look at it like I work with this stuff, so I'm very accustomed, and I don't mind the the hassles of it, sometimes, because I work with it, so it's pretty easy. Do you want to configure? Not right now. Let's see if this guy will start up here. Just work too. Okay. Trading mode, submission mode, trading mode. Bam. Okay, we'll see if this guy fires up. I should have gotten this open a little bit earlier, but I didn't. But while we're waiting, I'll see if I can get it to fire up for me. Come on now. Okay, let's see. File, connections, configure. Let's see. Huh. It worked the other day. Oh well, I'll just keep on poking at it while we're looking at the charts here. So we're just a moment from open. Login successful.
Yep.
It should work.
About 20 seconds.
About 20 seconds.
There's the open. I went ahead and got in on a long, and it's trying to break out above that last little 1 minute high, which is basically at 651.
I see long. Okay. So looking at 5-minute candles here. Yeah, indicators just on their way up. But yeah, we're gonna see which way this thing goes.
I got a pretty tight stop loss, so
Yeah, then you're set.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So it's breaking higher now.
Oh.
Trying to. A lot of small orders are pushing this. There's really nothing big.
All right. Huh.
It's fighting, but it's a fun show.
It's a good show, yeah. So, well, it is above. So it's above the 5 and the 10 moving average there on the 5-minute chart. So it's kind of making that break, and then on the 1 minute, it's definitely challenging. Is that the 75 that it's riding on?
The 75 is the red line.
Red. Okay.
Near the top of the candles. It's kind of riding on the diagonal breakout area, so it's chopping around in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely this morning, Robert starts his first trade with a daring move this morning, and and yeah, because if the I guess if the big money is satisfied that the NASDAQ is given enough back, then it'll let it go. But right now, it's definitely taking a turn for the worse.
Yeah, I got stopped out, so no big deal.
Yeah, we're definitely now. So we're getting that market open push, and it looks like they want more carnage, so they're gonna push it down more. But that just makes for a glorious bounce when it does turn around. But it's hard to call. I really wouldn't, I wouldn't short this moment if I was ready to.
No, because what often happens is, you're right, Craig. What often happens is they'll push the price down, quite a bit, then they'll push it up, and then they'll push it down again, and then you'll have these big tall candles on short time frames, just one after the other, until it finally gets its bearing, and the bulls take over, and it pushes the price higher than all those tall candles. That's kind of what might happen now, but we'll see.
Yes, in the 1 minute, yeah. Oh goodness, it looks like there's definitely a push down this morning. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're really pushing hard on the selling. Nvidia had a gap. See that?
Whoa.
So possibly a new
Wow.
contract. I'm not really too up on those things, but
Well, Nvidia,
Nvidia,
Apple,
yeah,
Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft are all, they're down a good deal.
yeah. Apple's
Nvidia
dumping. Microsoft is also dumping.
down.
Looks like
Whoa.
Microsoft and Nvidia both had a gap,
Yeah.
price gap.
I mean, the market opened potty today for sure. So Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft definitely having a hard morning. Nvidia down 3%, Apple just under 2 right now, and Microsoft down a solid 5% on market open with gaps. I mean, what in the world happened? I was, I was actually away for the weekend, and I was working on as the like Gen Alpha likes to say, get your Riz. I was working on getting my Riz back, so I was like a little out of Riz. So did a long weekend away, and really did my best to ignore, like, just not look at any news or anything like that. Just so I'm wondering, with that market open, like, is there just something that I missed? Some global calamity? I
Not
don't
that I
know.
know of. I know there was housing numbers put out this morning, but they were a little bit cooler than expected. I think it was a 0.05 was expected and came in at 0.02, something like that. So that was about all I am aware of.
Yeah.
Top Step has a page where you can basically see all the news.
Oh,
Let me
cool.
see if
Okay.
I can pull that up, and we'll just take a real quick look at it before you have to go.
Yeah, like, what is going on there?
Internet's been just a bit slow. Let's see here.
Yeah, so the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P 500, Russell 2000, they're all down this morning, So we'll see what they actually make of themselves today. Let's see.
All right, so in market news, all right, so 5:30 a.m. wholesale inventories, retail inventories today. U.S. advanced goods trade balance was minus 98.84 billion. It was a little bit less than expected. Crude oil inventories are at 7:30. I believe these are all Central Time, so those have already happened. Yeah, home sales. That was at 7 a.m. Central, I believe. It was a little bit Yeah, pretty close to what was expected. So nothing really out of the ordinary.
Yeah, on the 15-minute chart, you can really see like the Nvidia, the Apple, and the Microsoft gap. It shows up very clearly there. And then I wonder what is light crude oil is making a little bit of a move this morning. Let's see, where is I wanted to check silver and gold prices. See, where's gold futures? They're making a push this morning towards the upside. Gold futures are actually looking pretty good. They're pushing past a previous high. On the 15-minute, gold futures look kind of nice.
Yeah, and silver kind of doing the same thing, going up.
Yeah, silver is making a nice. It's challenging. Well, there's no recent high, but a little ways back, it's got a high that it's just pushing above. So gold and silver are looking pretty darn spunky today. You know, be something to see silver break $30 an ounce. I wouldn't mind seeing that today.
Yeah, silver will usually follow the basic price action of gold in futures. So
yeah. So you gold and silver, you gold and silver people, you're looking good this morning so far on market open. You know, crude is looking not doing too much.
yeah, I'd like to see crude go down. We've been seeing a little bit of relief in the price at the pumps here.
Yeah, we're down like I think maybe the average here is like 330 to 350 or something like that here in the Phoenix area, which is, you know, for here that's not bad. That's like really can't complain.
Yeah, the cheapest gas I've seen in the last week or so is $3.35 a gallon, and the average around here is about, even at the cheaper stations locally, is about $3.80 a gallon. My friend that lives in Texas, of course, they have a lot of oil there and refineries, so there's not really any transportation costs. It's like $2.75 a gallon.
Oh wow!
So cheap.
So silver, well, yeah, it wouldn't be bad. Oh, so yeah, the NASDAQ futures are really just they need to find their riz, as they say, right now. But I do think when we see that turnaround, when we really get that reversal starting, it'll probably be one to be watching close and try to catch, have that market buy ready. You know, I mean, it's just a feeling, but I bet we'll see a real good, you know, push if it makes a good reversal today.
Yeah, it will. It'll make a good one because at some point, when they're done pushing the market down, the market is going to rally. It may not take out the last high or anything, but it's it's going to at least have some upside. They do that at least once or twice through every morning trading session. So
Every trading session.
yep.
So I actually was going to over on maybe like if I can find it here. There's this cool article I saw. So I found 1970. I found the whole year of 1973 Hot Rod magazine.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, somebody had a whole year's worth, the whole year for like $20. So I got it. I was reminiscing. I was only 3 at the time, but there was this great, if I can find it here, there was this great article. So this is back in 1975, and anything about reading this stuff is, let's see, the night the Flathead died, 121. So it reminds me of, there was that movie, American Graffiti.
Yeah.
This is kind of great. This is the yes, can I get that line up? That's one of, like, they have all these great 2-page graphics and such, because this was a 25-year anniversary issue. So a lot of great stuff you could like hang up on your wall. It looks so cool. But there was this great article, and it's just called "The Night the Flathead Died." You know, And it's kind of reminiscent of that scene in American Graffiti. I always thought one of the most boring movies ever made. I'd never understood why it was so popular. But, you had the old flathead hot rod and then the old newer, overhead cam hot rod, and they raced, and it kind of depicted like the end of an era, like the 60s were gone. And now we were going to, rather than have these muscle cars that just shook the pavement and all this power, 1970 hit, and the man decided, no, that's a little bit too feral, a little bit too masculine. We're going to domesticate this down into just great big land yacht cars with emissions controlled boat anchors for engines. So it's, the world changed in 1970.
Yeah,
And
you're right. In 1970, they created a fake gas shortage. They wanted to
yes,
drive the prices up, and which created long lines at the pumps. And by 1971, they were already starting to decrease horsepower on
mm-hmm.
V8 engines for Camaros and all the pony cars, Impalas, Mustangs, especially and then that killed the Shelby. 71 was the last year for the Shelby Mustang.
Yeah.
It's not cool to drive an awesome, rare car with like 150 horsepower. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even if you put an exhaust system on it that's like designed to be as loud and obnoxious as possible, it just sounds weak. For anybody,
Yeah.
if you were wondering,
Yeah, that's like
yeah,
a four banger with the, you cut the muffler off trying to sound cool, and all it
yeah.
does is backfires.
I know. It's like, oh my gosh, Yeah, it's like, trust me, like real muscle cars never had to put an exhaust system designed to be louder on it. It just, it just had more or less muffler, but yeah. Um, the little resonators they put at the end of the pipe that are like designed to like actually be an amplifier. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what's become of our country? So, um, uh, but yeah, so I'm gonna like later today I'm gonna read this article. I take a picture to the magazine and read it, probably over on just Radiant Creators. I'll stick it on my own little YouTube. But just because this has been amazing, this like 1970 got the whole year, and this is the 25th anniversary edition of and it goes to show when I'm reading this, I'm like, nothing has ever changed. It's like when I look through this magazine and I look through all the ones that year, it's like, we've always been fighting regulation. It's always been this, it's always been that. The world gets a little better, the world gets a little worse, but the game never really changes. It's always like, you call it the deep state, you can call it the government, whatever you want to call it. There's always been this. We've always been in 1984. Where that boot is trying to get on the neck of humanity and just kind of suffocate it. And humanity keeps like, tossing it off and punching him in the groin. Then, of course, it comes back and tries to get its boot back on humanity's neck. It just, the game never changes. And so, but this guy
It's all
wrote,
about money,
it's
right?
all about money. And,
People are expendable.
oh,
If
yeah.
they make money in the process, they're happy. They got
Oh,
their
yeah.
power, got their extra money.
Oh, yeah.
And now we have Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETF approved. So
yeah. So whether it's, like corrupting a political movement by putting, agents in it, infiltrating it, poisoning a river or killing 1 million people doesn't make a difference. If there's $10 in it, you know, you know, they're gonna
you're
make
right.
that.
Yeah.
They're gonna make that $10. I tell you
That's
right
the
now.
world we live in. But
That's the world we live in. But this guy wrote this article, and I just thought, oh, it's going to be about the flathead, but it goes into the flathead, that type of engine, and this change about like 1970. So they were in 1973, talking about how, you know, the end of so the end of hot rods were like like the 70s might have been like the last free decade. I sometimes wonder, just because you had these powerful muscle cars and the manufacturers were trying to make them more powerful, and there was just like they were very organic. I talked about it before, but they were very organic, very feminine designs. They were very beautiful. Then about 70 we got these squares, you know and the style started to be lost. The engines became weak, and it's just like, I think that was the beginning. We lost the gold standard for the dollar. All these things happened, and we just sort of, it's still great to be in America, but there's been a decline, and we'll see if we ever hit that bottom and start to bounce back up. But I think if we were looking at a chart, like 70 was just like this morning on NASDAQ futures, just boom. And everybody's wondering, like, are we at the bottom yet? Are we at the bottom yet? They're going to push it down more. Everybody's waiting for that confirmed uptrend in the Western world, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, we're like, well, then I start wondering, well, would that even be a good thing? I don't know. The rest of the world would probably say no. Yeah, but I'm going to read this because the guy gets into the flathead, but then it also turns into an article about just the end of an era, the end of really the 60s moving into the 70s. And it's one little page, but it's quite powerful.
Yeah, the only thing I really know about flathead engines is that they had them on the Model A, Ford cars and trucks. I don't really know a lot about the difference in design between the flathead and the blockhead that they put on the V8s.
Yeah.
The more square.
Yeah, and I don't really know either, because they really are a bit before my time. I've been kind of wanting to look it up or ask an old timer or something, because I don't really know what the flathead even means. I just know it's an older style. I guess that the flathead didn't have, like, the V8 that we think of, like in a Chevy or anything else, has the cam in the center between the heads, right below the intake manifold,
Right.
And that was the difference, like the cam placement. Now, of course, you get like overhead cams and some things and all, but it was like the cam placement, but I don't really understand the difference. So I'll have to look that up because I'm curious.
Yeah,
But it even gets into like having, points for the end of freedom. Like when we got rid of points and we went to electronic ignition, I'm working on a little t-shirt design for, like, I might just put Radiant Creators on it too. Little design where it's a set of ignition points, and it just says "Come and take it." Some people will get it, Anyway, so today we're waiting for that. I'm watching the 15-minute chart. Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft have not really had a major turnaround yet. Microsoft's still at the bottom. Nvidia and Apple showing a little bit of fight. Gold and silver, that's where it's at this morning so far. But no incredible gains to really get it in trade though. But NASDAQ, it's just moving down to the 1-minute chart. We're beginning to see, what's going to happen. That squeeze indicator is beginning to roll over. Trendillo is indecisive for sure. The RSI shows some upwards movement. It's a 1-minute chart, but man, we are still in a really precarious situation as far as when to get in.
I feel like the price is just going to go down and retest or come close to retesting those lows and then possibly rally. But I mean, anything can happen. Even the Trendillo still being in the red, it can actually just, kind of roll over and stay red and then just go down and make a double bottom and make a lower low. So it's kind of hard to say until we really start getting some serious buying, because right now it's just it's a balancing act. So
just waiting for someone to give the go signal. I wonder about, let's see, what about let's look here. XRP USD. Whoa, okay. Well, let's see. While we're watching that, I could look at see if I can. I think we can do more than one thing shared. Okay, I'll just I added this to stage here, so it could be something fun to look at for a minute while we're waiting for the NASDAQ to wake up. And also I will fix on Bitcoin Daily View and also in the description where I kept screwing up the template that we have here, but I fixed that, and I'll put a new link to it, and I won't mess it up again. I had autos. I did not realize that autosave is really a bad idea for your templates. So anyway, but it'll look just like this. I'll share that again so people can have it. But looking at like the Bitcoin market, like there's bitcoindailyview.com. Of course, we keep things there. You can see some of the links. Looking at Bitcoin, right now we're at 5.8 billion. That's not that bad for the middle of the day. I should say for the middle of the week. It's really not much of a volume change last 24 hours on Binance for longs and shorts. A slight bias towards long on Binance for longs and shorts. Looking at the top 20 exchanges for spot trading, in general, they're just about all in the red, as in they've declined in value last 24 hours. So spot trading not really happening. Looking at Bitcoin here and the top 100, Bitcoin coming in at 66,465. Looking at the top 100, really not much is doing a whole lot. There's really no big trend. Athena, whatever that is, I don't know it. ENA is up 17%. So is Flow. That's a cool one. Flow is up 10%. XRP is up 6%. So in general, and Pepe is up like 4.8. But really, it's kind of a neutral day for the alts. Nothing really too spectacular is happening. We're not really seeing a trend towards dumping or pumping for the alts, so not much really happening there. But looking at like XRP on a 15-minute chart using the indicators that we use, you can see XRP on the 15-minute chart. That's pretty groovy right there. It's challenging a previous little high that it had. Indicators are way up, beginning to roll over, but we'll see what happens. XRP definitely. This guy is showing up. We'll have to see if that actually continues. BTC versus USD on Coinbase. How's this guy looking? Yep. Right now, we'll see what happens. Indicators are kind of indecisive. It's a 15-minute chart, but as you can see, it's challenging previous support and resistance. So we'll see. It's either going to get rejected and push down, or make a bounce and a move up. We'll see. It's a hard one to call. It's above important moving averages right now. We shall see. It's looking okay. Bitcoin, what you gonna do today? It's indecisive, just like the NASDAQ. Flow was looking good. Flow versus USDT. Oh wow, you know what? You can play Flow on Coinbase. That's cool, because Coinbase is the one exchange that everybody's got, including our grandmas. So Flow, 15-minute chart. Let's look at this with like a 4-hour chart for Flow. How's that looking? Oh, look at that. So Flow has had a nice uptrend, nice upwards channel. It's breaking a recent previous high. Indicators are turning up. The Trendillo, the squeeze is a 4-hour chart. So is the buy sell. Cool one down here. And that's a rather interesting chart on the 4-hour chart. Flow is looking kind of nice. It's getting a real push.
I was going to stay on Flow on the 4-hour. Despite that big spike that just happened, it basically the indicators still look good.
Yeah, because I could like do an upwards channel here. And you could do it like this. You could put it down there, and that would make sense. But if I just went like this, I always like when things do this. So it's a 15-minute. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's a 4-hour chart. You see this beautiful upwards channel. Indicators are looking good. It gave some back just recently, but it's turning back up. But now it's back in that channel, and that's kind of interesting. So I like that, and it's above the 10 and the 5 moving average. And I believe that the 75, as I have it on here, is the purpley one, which is probably kind of hard to see. I should probably make that a little bigger. But let's see, let me make that where we can see it a little bit better. Visibility. Here we go. Style. You're that color. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go, just so we can see it. So there's a 75. So, I mean, on the 4-hour, wow, Flow is looking beautiful. If I had to long an alt today, it probably would be Flow. I like the way that's looking, and look on these like really short time frames here, like the 45-minute, and on the 45-minute, it's a little bit overextended, but it's the top of that channel. So if I was, looking for that alt, I love that you can play it on Coinbase against Tether, and you can get it on Binance, all the big exchanges. But this one, I might today just watch flow and let it roll over, and watch and then just see if it just continues. Because if it did, come back to the bottom of that channel and then start moving up again, and the indicators look good, then, I definitely was one that I would be interested in. The only thing is, there's never a top and there's never really a bottom. So, one of the things with flow is it could really easily, it could just, it could just push the top of this channel, come down, test it, and it could just go into, Lambo land just as well. So anyway, that's those are the interesting alts that I see at the moment. I mean, so far. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually some that I was looking at too. Of course, the altcoins, when Bitcoin is kind of, making a little bit lower low on the short time frames and then goes up a little, they kind of take turns going up.
Yeah.
So basically, some of these look fairly good. I'll change to a shorter time frame and look at a few of them. So Joe is actually kind of made a comeback. GTC looks pretty good. It's made a higher high on the 1 hour.
Oh yeah.
Super made a good comeback. Let's see. STMX, of course, is the top gainer.
Woo.
That one really is just pumping.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's on the daily STMX. Went all the way down about a month ago. It was 0.0044, and now it has doubled.
Whoa.
In a little over a month, double value. So that, I think it's definitely not done. The Trendilla was just turning on the daily.
Yeah.
So this could just, it could end up back, 9 or 10 cents, or sorry, 0.009 or 0.01, which is a penny. Last time it was valued at a penny was April 12th.
So yeah, STMX is that that's a nice long trade,
Yeah, very cheap coin too. You can buy a lot of them for, $100.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely the daily maybe long, Like,
yeah,
because that would be nice. Yeah, it's moving. How's it looking on the short time frame? Short time frames is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, 1 hour looks pretty good. Although it is a bit pumped up, it could go higher. It could make another 10-15% possibly on the 1 hour before it does a little pullback. Hard to say.
Yeah.
I would love to have been in it, basically 2 days ago.
Oh yeah. It's like STMX and flow STMX. I'll keep an eye on those guys. Hi-Fi, ENA.
Yeah. Also, one of the ones that Jonathan mentioned last night at the meeting was ENS, Ethereum Name Service.
Oh yeah, that one.
So that one actually had a pretty decent increase. It went from $25.50 up to $30.50 in basically, half a day.
And now it's in a great place. I bet it's right about the 0.5 fib level from that, last run that it had. So,
yeah, I think you're right.
Just about 0.5, and then that green moving average for you is
That's 75.
75. So, looking at it with these are, slightly different than how Jonathan would have been looking at it, because he's using like the blockchain education standard, indicators, but we're looking at the kind of the NASDAQ ones, but they all work. They all, all indicators work everywhere, and looking at that 75 moving average, right here, I'm guessing the .5 fib level, you can just about see it, and it made a nice strong run, and the indicators are rolling over, it looks like, and it's kind of bouncing off that previous a previous high, not the last high, but the high before it. So it's kind of in a powerful spot, ENS. It's like, this is the kind of alt that I like. It's like we're oftentimes like waiting for it to give back so that we can, find a good spot to get in. And like ENS, yeah, look at that. That's perfect bounce spot if it does it. It really looks convincing. So it's like,
it does. The indicators could just cycle up from here too, possibly.
yeah, I mean, so I'm thinking like, oh, this is definitely a fun one. This is the kind of trade today I would get into, and I would just do a tight stop. It's either going to run or it's not. If it goes below the support that it's on, I pretty much figure it's maybe going down to like a 786 fib level or something like that. It's going to go down, more. But yeah, if this is bounce time, I might hop on this one today and just put a tight stop in, and it's going to run or not, but I like it. ENS is definitely a player in my book today,
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so I hear birds in the background.
Yeah, those are my parakeets.
Oh,
in the other
cool.
room. They're in there with the door closed, but they like to make a lot of noise in the morning.
Yeah.
I leave the door open on their cage so they don't feel like they're prisoners,
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like chickens. Yeah.
Then they go on the top of their cage and play and squawk at each other. And they can also see and hear the birds outside the window, so they like that. It's kind of their morning call.
Yeah. I like it. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess we're kind of just waiting to see if the NASDAQ does anything exciting today. I'm sure it will. It's 705. And let's see, I have to take a look here. Are we seeing NASDAQ? Have you woken up today? No, NASDAQ. I'm looking at like a 15-minute chart here on the NASDAQ, and it's still just trying to find that bottom. But wow, it's given a lot back. I mean, yeah. I know that bounce is coming. I can feel it.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Just not sure when.
Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the only one. So like NVIDIA's got a little bit of push. Apple, a little bit. Microsoft, a little bit. So they're starting to, kind of show a little bit of life. So where's my silver? Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Wow, that's a beautiful chart. If I was to you can really see. I'll add mine to the stage for a sec. If you look at if you look at the like in Trading View, if you look at that with a let's see if I can make this look good. See, here's a 15-minute chart in Trading View for the NASDAQ futures. Wow. That's a glorious just dump this morning. Wow. So it's impressive to see, but yeah, that reversal is coming one day. Are we anywhere near like historical? Let me see if there's like any like historical. I mean, we are always like looking for that previous support and resistance. And we are at a spot where you could see a little bit of action happen way back in It would have been like June 20, like no, like June. I'm sorry, June 10th. So like June 12th, you could see a little bit of support resistance that got accumulated here. So
Exactly.
we're at a possible point of interest where we could see a little bit of action happen.
That is a little area of interest, but it's not a major area of support. So I can see exactly what you're talking about. I'm looking at 4 hour.
There we
The
go.
next real support, in my opinion, is at about
Yeah.
15,350s. So kind of 355 to, right in there. And that's another $150 down. So
Mm.
we'll see. We'll see if this area holds. It's not doing a really good job right now of holding. So I think we could see more downside in the next hour or two.
Yeah. I'm gonna check zero hedge real quick here and just see if we see any big things that happen. Like, no, nothing really there. Let's see. Dutch bank plunges after jump in something. That means nothing to me. Uh, oh, Blackstone mortgage slashes dividend by 24% as distress piles up in the CRE world. That's kind of an interesting one. I might just for a sec. I could I don't know if this is fueling anything, but I could share it to the stage for just a sec. I could like Blackstone mortgage, whatever slashes dividend by 24% as distress piles up in CRE world. CRE that's commercial real estate, I think.
I think
Let's
it is,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, Blackstone Mortgage Trust, a real estate finance, whatever. Um, yeah, finance company that originates senior loans collateralized by commercial real estate across North America, Europe, Australia, reported its second quarter earnings on Tuesday. The report revealed a near quarter reduction in its dividend due to rising defaults and increasing challenges with borrowers in making payments or refinancing office tower loans amid worsening CRE downturn. So that's news this morning. Here on Zero Hedge. Wow. So cutting the dividend will save about 100 million a year that can be reallocated to new loans or other investments. So anyway, I always look at like the traditional market news, and it's always, it's just kind of dreadfully boring. But still, I think this is a big one. And like I say, I follow. I'm sure we both do. We look at a lot of. Um, like just there are some financial analysts I do trust that I listen to their YouTubes and things like that, and I know that commercial real estate for this year, and next, I mean, really for the next couple of years, but definitely is I'm lending towards what I'm seeing as it's on kind of like the disaster cycle for commercial real estate. I don't know, things can turn around, but it does seem that like BlackRock and a lot of banks as well. I mean, really are the commercial real estate not doing well, especially if it's really crappy, is going to. Some predict that we'll see a lot more banks go under because of commercial real estate. You know, basically being a pretty crappy chart. And I don't know what they are right now, but I'll save them for I'll find them for next time. There's like just 2 or 3 big commercial real estate tickers that you can watch to kind of see how it's doing. And I haven't looked at those in a long time, but they might be a good indicator to watch as well. Just a little bit of see what the mood of the day is, or the week, or the month, because I don't know. I'm not. I say these things are so hard to call, and I'm not a traditional market expert on any level, hardly knowledgeable. But it doesn't surprise me a little bit of a down market today, especially if news came out that wasn't good for BlackRock, and ultimately, commercial real estate once again coming up short because you know
Yeah. I mean,
it does seem to from analysts that I think are very knowledgeable, that I kind of trust, that I think we're going to see those definitely drag the market down quite a bit.
I agree.
If they continue failing, we'll make money. We'll just short more than we long if that's the case.
That's right.
Traders don't care, you know.
You got to learn how to short in this market. Don't just only go long, because if you only wait for longs, you're kind of like a one-legged man in the ass kicking contest.
Yeah, you certainly are. I know. I know. Yeah. Even if you can master that one-legged kick, you're still, you're still at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and we did break lower on the NASDAQ as well. That last area that we kind of looked at, it's down another basically $25 approximately. So I think we're going to see a little bit more downside. There's nothing really to hold it in this area. I think we're going to go back to 370s area support, 370s, 380s. It's probably going to be 360s actually. I take that back. So yeah, 19,360s is a support area.
19,360. So yeah, that's definitely a good little trading view alert to have set. See if we hit it.
Yeah, and of course, part of the reason it's going down so hard is because we basically had so many weeks of just uptrending, making higher highs on the NASDAQ, and it just kind of got, heavily overbought on the daily. So
it seems like now whenever you break 20,000, you're probably going to see a retrace there. Like I thought when it got above 20,000 and it started to trend down a little bit, that was probably, you hit that psychological level, you stay above it a bit, and then,
yeah, but it went to almost 21,000. So
I know.
It surprised me that it actually did that. I wasn't expecting it.
Wow. Well, this is an exciting day, even though like we're not really getting in. It's an exciting, but it's an exciting day because if I guess something I like about the NASDAQ futures like this is they're really good for me. They're good at building patience because I go, this is going to be great. I'm not going to short right now. It'd been great if on market open, a person had a short in, but really it's just not enough hooks in anything to really call to make that trade on market open,
Well, one thing you can do if the market's just too sketchy to trade with your combine, just trade it with, go into Top Step and log into your account and start a practice account. And then that'll show up in your selection for Top Step X when you go into trade. You can just trade, it says practice right on there. You can just mess around with it. You get a 150K practice account. It's not graded. You're just, playing with the market.
Yeah.
Test different strategies and, kind of see what works.
No, it's true. It's
one
true.
way to get your feet wet with no risk.
It also gets you in the habit of putting it all together, like whatever your trading methodology is, and then doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
If the only time you ever trade is when you've got money on the table, which is, if that's fine too, but it's like working out. You're going to the gym, lifting weights, or you're running, you're walking, you're hiking up a hill, whatever it is. You're in action, you're doing it. And to me, it helps me be more fluid. You just get more accustomed to actually making the trades, and
then you got screen time exposure. So the more screen time you have, it's just like learning how to play the guitar. The more hours you have doing it, practicing, the better you're going to be, because you're going to figure out your niche, figure out the strategies that you like to, which become your style. Whether it's trading breakouts or oversold conditions, overbought conditions. I mean, you can trade them all. You just have to know, especially with breakouts, because they can fail to break out, just go down and mess you up. But yeah, it just helps you, a lot of screen time. play with the practice account is what I'd recommend until you've passed it, like say 3 times. And what you got to do in the 150K practice account is show 9,000 in profit without busting the account. If you do that 3 times in a row, you're ready to trade.
Yeah,
you know.
for sure.
Because on a 50K, you only have to show $3,000 in profit on the combine, and then you get your XFA from the account.
Yeah, it reminds me of like one of the most like true and frustrating things I ever heard was somebody once said like, when it came to playing guitar, playing an instrument, he says, well, every day you either get worse or you get better. And I was like, oh damn it, why do you say things will hurt me?
If you practice guitar, you're not going to get worse.
I know. Every day you get worse
pretty rapidly.
Yeah, every day you get worse or you get better. And what he just meant was that either you practice or you don't. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, so yeah, every day you get worse, you get better. So yeah, practice if the market's sideways, or, if you trade crypto too, you can always flip over there and check out what the alts are doing, what Bitcoin's doing, and maybe hop in over there. But with the morning NASDAQ, I do like this. This is something I'm definitely, working on, but, yeah, wow, we lost that support. You really can see it. It's like, how about if I look at like an hourly chart here? Wow.
Yeah, I have to go to 4-hour to be able to even see that previous area, but we did lose this area of minor support, and we're headed down here now. So I would say right in here, it's probably a pretty logical place to bounce. If not, if it doesn't really bounce there, and if it does go lower, it's going to go down to here. So one of these two areas is going to hold.
Yeah. Wow. It's just a, yeah, it's a little hard to, I'm learning, a lot more patience with, doing like the NASDAQ futures like this, because, it just gets more interesting. It's like, where is this going to bounce?
Yeah, it is actually really interesting because there's so many facets to the analysis of what's going on, what news is coming out, previous day's high, previous day's low, previous week's high, previous week's low. Then there's other things that you can consider, fair value, just a lot of factors.
Yeah.
Whether new contracts are coming out on certain key assets that are big influencers on the NASDAQ is also another, big factor.
Yeah.
We're going lower.
So like, okay, so if I look at the, I like in TradingView where they have the little, like purple lightning bolt you can see, and it'll show you like related news. And so if I look at that, let's see if I look there, okay, all right, like news for this moment, all about like a minute ago, stocks slide as Tesla, Alphabet earnings drag on mega caps. Okay, sure, whatever that means. NASDAQ futures set to slide at open after Tesla, Alphabet disappoint. I guess Alphabet's Google, right? I think the parent company. Also, NASDAQ composite 50-day moving average may be a magnet. I haven't looked at the 50-day moving average. And then NASDAQ futures plunge as U.S. tech earnings disappoint. PMI data in focus. Okay, so maybe some of this is news driven. Let's see. While that's happening, I wonder, is there any, how about, oh, that's one I haven't looked at in a little while. People might find that interesting. I've not looked at. Here is. I'll share this one for a sec while we're waiting for NASDAQ to do something.
Sure.
This is interesting. It's a 4-hour chart. This is XRP, and just looking at it, 4-hour charts, we're seeing a little bit of time here. Doing one of my favorite things. You can kind of make an upwards channel. You can definitely see this thing has went kind of the wrong way there. But if I correct that a little bit, pull that in focus. But yeah, XRP, beautiful, nice upwards channel there on the 4-hour. It's recently above the 10 and the 15 moving average. 75 is way down there. That's looking good. If we look at the indicators, definitely a little bit neutral, but it has a great opportunity to continue. So that was one that I was looking at this morning, was XRP. You can play XRP on any exchange that exists. It's on Coinbase against USD if a person likes trading there. But XRP, I have no emotional connection to it. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I don't know. I kind of like this upwards channel that it's got going on the 4-hour.
I like XRP mainly because it's kind of anti big bank, and it's basically pro blockchain as far as running banking transactions. So
I'll take it. I like it.
I like it. I mean, I'm all for it. And there's a lot of people on the XRP bandwagon that are still big fans. That are saying, if once this thing takes off, so the SEC is basically, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but my understanding is the XRP is not being considered a security product. So it just needs to rally,
Yeah.
Everybody starts buying it, it's going to rally.
Oh, yeah. And if we look where it's at right now, we're right here at, it's right there at, I'm being a little bit creative with this, but it is, a point of support and resistance. If it started to run again, and it just made it about where it's made it before, let's say, if it ran about, to, like, let's say its last easy high, that's like 12% or 10%. That would probably happen pretty quick if it breaks to the upside here. It's really extended here on the daily chart. Same thing kind of on the 4-hour chart. It's been pushing, but there's never a top and never a bottom. Things can do whatever they want. But 4-hour chart's looking pretty good. It definitely could continue there. So anyways, I'm just watching XRP. I think this could be, I haven't quite decided yet, but I think it could be maybe just kind of an easy long that I just sit back and let run for a while, and make 10% or more. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. And then NASDAQ still trying.
It's not really ready to rally.
No. Wow. Well, it's like when we were a kid, and hopefully we had a bouncy ball. You learn, like, the harder you throw it at the ground, the further it bounces. So
right.
It's just kind of exciting. Like the harder the NASDAQ falls and the further, the harder that bounce is going to be.
That's true. Once it does rally, it's going to really put on the jams.
Yeah. It'll be taking off like SpaceX.
Yeah, but there's nothing really to hold it here. There's no support. So I would be kind of surprised if it really does even rally here at all. But I mean, anything's possible because the NASDAQ is heavily affected by the by the top stocks.
Yeah.
Such as Nvidia and Apple and so forth. So,
Wow. And Microsoft now is down 7.84%. Like that's almost 8%. Apple down 4, Nvidia down 4. So we're definitely having a bit of a carnage market here. I always like this little. I'll share this real quick. This guy. I've always liked this page. It's just FinViz for anybody. It's just FinViz, FINVIZ.com, FinViz. And I like the heat map that it has. And so, your Dow is down, NASDAQ down, S&P down, Russell down. And I think this thing, it's definitely, let me refresh it. It's definitely, it might be lagging a little bit, but I love the heat map. It I think its numbers lag a little bit, but still you can see it's neat to look at the different sectors and stuff like that. Healthcare, like diagnostics and research is definitely having a rally of a day. Credit services, whatever V is, Visa Incorporated down 3.3%. Yeah, so credit cards are definitely not having a good day today. I'm not sure if anybody who's using credit cards these days is having a good day either. Utilities, regulated, electric, definitely whatever that is, whatever that means, it's having a great day. So I like how you can just go over the heading of it, and you can just go like, oh, look at that, and you can see everything in that in that group. So, and this is just looking at the S&P 500, but I like it. Oh, and you can look at the world. That one's really fun. You can see how the different continents, the different warring factions are doing. In Switzerland, whatever NVS is doing quite well. Novartis is doing good. And then what else? Full shows all of them. Wow. Anyway, thought I'd just share that. I've always liked this little guy. I think FinViz is just a fun little site, fun little heat maps, and I like it. And also one that we don't really talk about much is the Russell 2000, the rut. And I like the rut because it really shows. I think it's kind of like if I was to go over here and just check out the RUT, the rut. I think it oftentimes will show which way the market's going to go. Maybe it just reacts very. It's a lot more reactive, and sometimes it kind of shows me the trend of where where Nvidia and or like to see the NASDAQ, where other things are going to go, because it's just reactive. It always seems like. So it's had a good day this morning. It's up a bit on the 4-hour chart. Let's look at like a 15. How did it do this morning? Yeah, not too sparky, but it hasn't really made a comeback yet either. But it wouldn't surprise me if the rut started to make a little bit of a run just before the NASDAQ futures. It's one of those just crazy data points that I collect, not based on science or anything. It's just purely intuitional. And it just tends to react. It's like Bitcoin, the 2-hour MACD oftentimes shows me the trend it's going to be on. It's just one of those things where I look at it. I don't endorse it. It's just something I look at. Trade at your own risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It never hurts to have data points. I think we all have ones that are more logical than others, but the more you have, you can always weight them accordingly. Wow, now it's getting interesting. So now we're on the 5-minute chart, and we can see maybe a little bit of a rounding bottom there. We see the trend Leo is looking good. The RSI beginning to have a little bit of positivity. The squeeze indicator hasn't quite turned positive yet. The buy sell indicator at the very bottom is beginning to trend up. So we're still definitely in a risky spot. We're below the 5 and the 10 moving average, it looks like. But I don't know. It's still anyone's guess.
Yeah, I mean, it could actually hold here, but what I'm seeing is that in the short time frames, it'll go up and act like it's really catching the bid, and then the bears come in and push the price down. So
Yeah.
we're still in a bearish market for the NASDAQ. It's just it's not really holding very well yet. I mean,
Yeah.
it could just make a lower low and just go down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the truth. I mean, it is the wise person who knows there's no top and no bottom. You know, stuff can do whatever it wants. You know.
Yeah, it is scalpable, but I can tell you they're risky scalps because the place where you get in might be just a temporary top, and then it might go down and just put you really far underwater. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a rough one. Well, it's 7:33, so I had a little bit of extra time this morning, so it was good to stay on and just watch it. But what's
yeah,
nice is that if it's happening, we can watch it and trade it. If it's not, we can always hop over and look at some alts and look at how the Bitcoin market's doing, and or Bitcoin and alts. And so, wow, I mean, it does look like NASDAQ right now. Wait and see. Are we going to see a? I can't short along it right now. I'm kind of waiting for that confirmed uptrend, and I think I would hop in, but. It's a little bit of an easy morning since we're not in, we don't really care. Like whatever it does, it does. For alts, Flow, STMX, and ENS are all looking like maybe nice trades. You know, definitely one
yeah,
for anybody who wants to check those out. You know, those are I like an XRP. I got to throw that in there too. I think XRP might be possibly an easy long to get in. I like those, and those are all look like trades you could maybe, well, especially STMX, ENS, and XRP. Not as sure about Flow, but maybe ones you could just, that's kind of that dream trade, which you can just sit and let run 30 days or something. Those all look maybe in the right place to run for a while. I mean, they're choppy. XRP is choppy, but anyway,
yeah,
um, they're all looking like, you know, trades that could, you know, a slower, you know, more of a daily candle or 4 hour candle trade that you could just let make money for a while. So those are looking good. But anyway, yeah, time for me I got to run. Maybe I'll check on things later on today and see if you're around, if NASDAQ really starts to move. Um, but other than that, I'm thinking Friday morning, try it again.
yeah. Friday sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'll get on Friday morning and we'll make it happen. And I will try to get that invite out beforehand so that it's just easier and things move faster. All right, well, take care, and I hope we get in a little later and grab that glorious reversal that's coming.
Yep, it's coming. Just got to be patient.
Yeah, be patient. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks, Craig.